Just a 1.5-mile drive from Tailwaters Lodge is a TVA public land access road that doubles as a hiking trail, and it leads to a beautiful view of the South Holston Lake as well as a spillway. Today my goal is to hike the trail, fly my drone, and see if I can catch some fish. All right guys, so just a short drive away from Tailwaters Lodge, we've got this hike right behind me. It's actually an access road for TVA, and they've got a little bit of information about this location. This is a day use only trail, and there is no motorized vehicles, there's no fires, there's no camping, anything like that. It's open 30 minutes before sunrise and closes 30 minutes before sundown. As you guys can see, there is a gate here, so this is as far as you can go, and there is a little parking area. I did bring my fishing pole with me today as well as my drone, so I want to get some really cool shots when we get out to the lake. I also want to see if I can catch something. So without further ado, let's get on the trail and let's see what we can find. All right, so we're just getting started. This is a 1.5-mile hike, give or take. I did a little bit of measurements on Google Maps. At the end of this trail is a spillway that goes out to a clearing, and there should be a nice view of the lake. At the very beginning of this trail, it's basically just a slow incline, so it's going to go up for a little ways, but I'm not sure the exact gradient, so we're just going to have to experience it together. And then of course, once we get to the lake itself, we can check to see if there's any fish and hopefully get some really cool drone shots. TVA stands for Tennessee Valley Authority, and they manage over 293,000 acres of public land and 11,000 miles of shoreline across the Tennessee Valley region. TVA public land plays a significant role in conservation, recreation, and supporting the region's economy. I'm noticing that we're working our way toward a ridge line, and as we get higher and higher, I'm assuming we're going to get to a point where we're going to be able to see something. There should be some kind of view involved, so it's just a steady incline. It's not too bad. I am noticing there's a lot of trees that have fallen down. We're like maybe a month and a half removed from Hurricane Helene hitting this region, causing a lot of floods, causing a lot of trees to come down. And the TVA has done a great job of clearing this path. They've even blown the leaves off, so it looks really nice. But there's definitely a lot of trees down, as you can see as we're walking here. I don't know if you can see up into that valley with this wide angle, but there's just a ton of trees that have fallen, big mature trees. And so, you know, as you do this hike, don't be surprised to see lots of trees down. That's just kind of the nature of what's just occurred naturally. But regardless of all that, it's actually a really nice hike. The thing I like about this area, specifically the Tailwaters Lodge area here in East Tennessee, is that there are so many outdoor activities to do. I think primarily there's a lot of really good fly fishing because we're right on the South Holston River, and it's literally the #1 tailwater in the southeast for fly fishing. There's just so many trout. But you know, if you wanted to do something outside of trout fishing, you can also go out to the Creeper Trail in Virginia. It's like 30 minutes away from here, and it's like just a world-class biking trail. Or you can do tons of different hiking trails all around this region, all the way from their doorstep to just a 1.5 miles removed. There's lots of different locations. When it comes to hiking and camping, public lands often feature trails, scenic overlooks, and areas for primitive camping. These lands also preserve habitat for a wide variety of plants and animals, making them great for bird watching and nature photography. For fishing today, I'm bringing a traditional little spinning rod with some soft plastics that are basically the size of small flies. I have little things like stone flies and small worms, things like that, and we're just going to throw them around with a float. This time of year, the fish go from shallow to deep, and so my hope is that we can catch a few that are still shallow and still feeding. So guys, I've been on the trail for about 10 minutes now, and I've just been moving along, and it's just been a consistent uphill, but I'm starting to see the top of the ridge line, so I believe there's hope. I believe at some point we're going to crest, hopefully get a view, and then we'll start our downhill descent. But for the time being, just know if you start this trail that at least at the very beginning, it's a gradual uphill, so be prepared for that and take your time. So we're not to the top yet, but we did get to our first view of the day. So here's the trail right here, and then there's kind of like this little offshoot, couple logs that are down. And if you walk up right here, you can have your first good look of the lake. So that's South Holston Lake. Because it's now wintertime, I can see pretty good, so that's nice. First view, not a bad view, but I've noticed that the trail continues to climb. So let's continue on, let's see how far it goes. All right guys, so I've been hiking for roughly maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Been going pretty hard, but I have just made it to the top. We're now cresting the hill, and it looks like it's now downhill. Check this out. We've also got a pretty nice view. Just off the path here, we've got a nice view of the lake. That's very beautiful. And as you guys can see, it's all downhill from here. One thing I'm noticing since I've crested the hill and we're now going down is that we're getting closer and closer to the water, and with that I'm getting to see tons of birds. So if you're into birding or you enjoy birds, this is definitely a good hike for you. I'm gonna have to do this hike again in the spring to see what kind of wildflowers pop up in this area, because it looks like an area that would hold a lot of wildflowers. South Holston Lake is a stunning reservoir that stretches across the Tennessee-Virginia border, surrounded by the majestic Appalachian Mountains. Known for its crystal clear waters and scenic shorelines, the lake is a popular destination for fishing, boating, and kayaking. It's especially renowned for its world-class smallmouth bass and trout fishing, making it a hotspot for anglers. The surrounding TVA public lands and Cherokee National Forest provide excellent hiking and camping opportunities that offer breathtaking views. So guys, since we crested that hill, it's been all downhill and it feels glorious. So now it's just a subtle transition. We're heading back down. We're getting closer to the lake, which is nice. And I know based off of the map I've studied that we are getting close to the spillway, which is great because that means that we can then transition to fishing and flying the drone. And the weather today, it can't make up its mind if it wants to be sunny or overcast. We've got a good mix today. All right, guys, so we're now transitioning down to the final spot. I can see a clearing up ahead. I can see the spillway. So let's go check it out. Wow. That is beautiful over there. Right behind me is the spillway. Let's go over there real quick for the sake of curiosity. Just peek over the edge, see if there's any water, any fish. And then we're gonna turn around, head over to the main lake, fly the drone, do a little fishing. So guys, I made it to the edge of the spillway. There is definitely some green mucky water behind me. It doesn't look like there's much oxygen in it. There may just be some frogs, but there's definitely no fish in there. So let's go ahead and let's work our way back over to the main lake and let's go see what we can find. As you guys can see, I have a small plastic bait that looks similar to a stonefly. This is what it should look like once you attach the fly to the jig head. All right, guys, so I've rigged up my bait here, just this micro bait, and it's on a little jig head, so it should sink down fairly quickly, and then it's about 3.5 to 4 feet up is where the bobber is going to be. So be very careful when you're out here. This is a lot of broken rocks and things. It's very loose. And if you come down here to fish, just know that you need to be extra careful. Honestly, it drops off pretty steep, so I don't think we have to cast out very far to get down to where there's potential fish. So all I'm going to do is watch that bobber. Eventually it's going to stand up just like that. That's when I know it's gone down as far as it can. And then we're just going to watch for any type of movement. Occasionally I may twitch it a little bit to give it that little micro bait some life. And let's just see if there's anything here. I don't know if there is or not. Well, guys, that first spot wasn't holding anything, so we're going to move down just a little bit. I saw a few logs in the water, but nothing big. I've seen some bigger trees that are down over here, so I'm curious if there might be anything holding in these trees still, or if everything's just out in the middle. I don't know. All right, let's throw over here by this tree. See if there's anything down there. If there's going to be anything around, it would be in that general area by that tree still. Fish on. We got a fish, guys. Something hit. Oh, there we go. Holy smokes, we caught a smallmouth, guys, right on that tree. Can you believe it? So guys, I was throwing out this micro setup for anything that would bite and got absolutely smacked. Whoa, chill out. So guys, check that out. I got a nice smallmouth here. He's not huge, but then again, we're using some pretty small baits. How cool is that? So up shallow in these trees, we actually had a little bass hanging out. Bass just busted just over there. Shallow, guys, very shallow. So the bass are starting to reveal themselves. They're still hunting little baits up shallow. So let's cruise over there real quick. Let's work our way over to where that bass just jumped, because that's the second time I've actually seen that bass. So let's walk, let's get a little bit closer. I've got 6-pound test on, but my drag is set pretty loose. So I should be able to combat just about anything out here. Look at all the down timber in the water. This is a great location to catch another bass. So guys, what I'm gonna do So I'm just gonna fish from this tree right here. Let's throw it down into that clearing. And we'll just twitch it a little bit and see if there's anybody down there. Fish on. Oh, fish off. I couldn't quite tell what it was. It looked kind of like a little bass maybe. I'm just slightly twitching it, giving it a little bit of life. Yep. Oh, goodness. We missed ourselves a bite right there, guys. Guys, all I'm doing right now, I'm casting out beyond the cover, slowly twitching it back. Once it gets down to the bottom, I'm just twitching it back. Oh, there's a little nibble. Fish on. Let's see what we got here, guys. Little bitty bass. So it looks like a little baby smallmouth bass. Look at that, guys. I'm going to lip him. This guy's tiny. But nonetheless, that's really cool. We're microfishing, so that's not uncommon to see something like that. And there he goes. All right, guys, so I fished a little ways over there. I caught another little bass. I'm actually coming back to the original tree where I caught that first smallmouth. Fish on. Got another one. Oh, and it came off. It was another little smallmouth, guys. Man, they're in there. They're in that little tree. I cannot believe another one bit right there. Let's see if he's got any friends. Yep, he sure did. He sure did. So guys, I changed the depth. Caught another little bass hanging out. They're loving this little girdle bug looking plastic here. Look at this thing. It looks like honestly, it's a big stone fly is what it is. And these little smallmouth are still hanging out in the shallows. I mean, they're little bitty, but man, this is fun just picking them off. Let's pitch him back out, see if we can hook another one. All right, guys, well, that was an incredibly fun day. My time is up, so I've got to head back to the car, do the 1.5 mile hike back up the trail. But I'm so thrilled that I was able to find a few fish, do some exploring, fly the drone. It's just been it's been a great experience. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. If you'd like to see a biking tailwaters video, I've got a really fun video from the Creeper Trail. I'm gonna leave that one right here. Or if you'd prefer to see me fly fishing with my good friend Logan Shell, who works for the South Holston River Company, I've got another fun one right here. Till next time, tight lines.